All right, everybody, good morning and happy Wednesday. At least I hope you had a happy Wednesday. I had a red day today, and it was a small red day, but it was a day of learning what exactly is going wrong because what has been working over the last months is not working right now. And so I already went through this morning and I shut down a little bit early around 10:30 this morning. I reviewed all of my trades from the last week to see exactly what's working because I record every single trade that I take. I go back and I watch this footage. Just like a football team would go back and watch tape, I watch my tape. So I go back and I'm looking to see what is working and what is not. We're going to break down that exactly this morning. That way, exactly what's working in this market and what's not working in this market. And I finally figured it out. And you're going to say, well, you're an idiot. It's so obvious. Probably. So let's dive into it here and break down into the trades from today. Now, I did have some good trades today, don't get me wrong, and I did have some good ones, but the thing is, it's not the good ones that are the problem. It's the bad ones that are the problem. No, surprise. So, there is some opportunity out there, which is a good thing. Where the fix comes in is how we can do less of what's not working. And not necessarily more of what is working, because we already know what is working. We're already executing on those. It's a matter of just doing less of what's not. That way we bolster our confidence. We can take more size on what is working and then scale from there. So this was market open today on BMBX. This was actually a really good setup. I had it on the pre-market watch list over 465, and I traded this thing to a T this morning. Now, how this thing was setting up was really nice. Of course, we look at the, again, 10-minute time frame here. We can look back from pre-market into the early 5-minute time frame. Might be a little bit easier to see. Where this thing pretty much gives back everything going into market open. Look at this. This thing gives back pretty much everything. Puts in places rounded bottom. Cup and handle breakout to the highs. And what I was looking for here was for this range to hold off this pullback, for the leg back up through those previous highs. And this thing looked fantastic at the time. And so knowing that, we had this previous high here formed off of pre-market. We had VWAP sitting here as well, right beneath share price. And so we get zoomed into the 1-minute time frame here to really get seeing what we saw here. And there was a really good opportunity for a few more base hits. Now, I played this about 4 times for profit. It was pretty good to play. It was actually about 3 times for profit. It was pretty good. And so you can see right here, we had the big breakout at market open where, again, price pulls back. We are tight over VWAP. Now, I want you to see the similarities here. Take a look at this. And you're going to be like, wow. So we have the break of VWAP here. I want you to see how tight VWAP is compared to share price. It's not way down here. It's tight to share price. It's all about perspective. And so 585 to about 560 in terms of risk on this trade here. And then you compare this to SBEV. Now, take a look at this. This is one of my losers this morning. It was a very small loss, but it was still a loss. And I want you to see the difference. Do you see the difference? Now, either way, this would not have been a win, in my opinion, because, of course, this pulls back, but I also wouldn't have taken it here, right? I wouldn't have taken it here off the pullback because we would see the buyers are not stepping in. So it's a really tricky thing where we've got to look around and see these similarities and dissimilarities between what is working and what is not. And the big thing with this is here is I try to get kind of aggressive, and I've got to understand this is not a hot market right now. It's warm, it's a little toasty, but it's not a hot market right now. We can really get too aggressive in. And so here I try to get aggressive. I take the 1-minute pullback, looking to see if we can't get that move higher. And again, we don't. And we have so much room down back to VWAP here that we have so much downside risk. So you're susceptible to these moves down where you might not find confirmation. So like I said, this is a very small loss here. It is what it is. But still, it's a matter of similarity. And so we look back at BMBX here, again, tied off of VWAP. Look at all of these trades. What do they have in common? All very tight, defined off of VWAP. All tight and defined off VWAP. And I was able to trade it 3 times for profit. You can see it here. I played it from 580s to the 6s. I played it again from 580 back to the mid 6s. So again, I'm able to trade this multiple times for profit, tied off of VWAP though. And so I'm pretty happy with this. This thing's nice. It's clean, it's friendly, it's predictable for the most part. Very fast moving, but that's also not a bad thing. I like how these things trade when they're this volatile because they're a bit easy to get reads on. Now, let's take a look at this. A or B. What happens here? This right here is a grade A setup on what not to do. And so typically in a hotter market, whenever we get, again, we have a tightening wedge form like this. Check this out. You have this tightening wedge form. Now, what happens here is we have all of these big wicks off the high formed here, back from these past candles. Now, this isn't really the issue. The issue really is the fact of, I think it's a matter of, we still think we're in a hot market. And again, it's a matter of adapting. And I know it's been kind of a choppy past couple of weeks. Really been choppy since last Thursday, though, because Thursday, Friday were pretty much flat days. And I saw a lot of traders flat on Thursday, Friday. There really wasn't anything to trade. And so then you come in Monday. We had network outages because AWS was down. Oh, my goodness. Yesterday, we had some lingering issues from that. And now today you come in and thankfully, I finally spotted the issue. And the issue really comes down to, again, not being picky enough with the trades that we're taking. And you're going to say, well, why aren't we being picky enough? Well, it's because we were in a hot market for so long. And so it takes some realization to say, look, what was working is not working now. So typically if I'm taking a trade like this where we have the first candle to break to a new high, well, I take the breakout here, risking off the past low right back here to see if we can't get leg back up into this high. And of course we don't get that. We actually are liquidity here. I was liquidity. Can you believe it? I was liquidity. That's just how it rode. I mean, that was just it. But I want you to look at this setup. I want you to stare at this for a minute, take a picture in your brain. And now we move over to GSIT, and I want you to see exactly what I'm talking about here. Now the exact same setup happened here. And so again, we have this tightening wedge setup. First candle to break to a new high, and guess what? Again, you are liquidity, or I am liquidity, I suppose. So you can see why this is very obvious at this point. And through here, I was able to take it for, mind you, very small win. But the key difference is, what is the similarity amongst all of these trades? Amongst all of these trades is, for one, we're not playing breakouts, because breakouts typically are where the market tries to find liquidity. And so removing these setups from the playbook entirely, these initial breakouts, and of course, if you're looking at something that has, say, put in place a range, sure, that's one thing. That's completely different. But playing these first candle breakouts are the issue. In a hot market, sure, you can get in there, you can get aggressive, you can play that first breakout, but you just can't really do it right now. You're not seeing good enough follow through, resolution. We don't have enough conviction to the buy side. And it's just not working. And so we have to be aware of that as quick as possible. That way we can stop doing what we're doing that's clearly making us lose money and move on into tomorrow, make some money. And so typically whenever I'm doing this and I look back at these setups and I adapt, typically the results are rather quick. And you guys know that. If you've been with me for a few years or even a few months, whenever I adapt, it's pretty quick. And I can typically notice patterns pretty easily. And this is the first thing that I noticed today is AREB and NGSIT, which were my only two real losers today. Keep that in mind. My only two losers today. Again, keep that in mind. My only two losers, GSI and AREB. I mean, a very small red on SBEV, but yeah, I'm not really looking at that the same way because that wasn't a bad setup. But these two are what is so stand out to me. Taking breakouts into past areas of supply, that is the issue. We have this past high literally right here. But not only that, we're taking a simple 1 minute candle breakout. We're not seeing any areas of consolidation. I want to see price actually pull back and confirm bottoms. Had price pulled back and put in place of bottoms like this, that I can look to take this right here. That's a completely different story. And from there, I might actually have liked this setup. At that point, we at least have confirmed that breakout. But you see the issue here where we're again, we are liquidity. We are buying up into that strength, selling in the weakness, doing the complete opposite of what we're supposed to be doing. Buying in the weakness, selling in the strength is our motto. So it's just a matter of understanding. Look, it's just not a hot market. Then we move on to BENF. Now, this one was pretty good. But the issue was, check this out. And so because of what happened on SIT and SBEV, I go into this one hesitating. I don't know if I really like this, but this was a picture-perfect setup. And so we have this big move to the upside here. Look at this. Opening range breakout initially. Price legs to the upside here. Pulls back. Puts in place a bottom here off the 90 MA. And we see this first candle flip green. Well, that was an instant sign. And I was watching this actually right here as this was forming, and I didn't take it. I hesitated because of the last few trades. But this is why I'm saying, though, if we cut out the trades that are not working, you'll have more conviction to take the trades that are. And I would have probably caught this here. I know I would have caught it because I was watching and I said, all right, I'm watching it here for an entry. And I just didn't take it because I was hesitating. So we get rid of that negative feedback loop that we're getting from these invalid setups. That we have this positive feedback loop from what is working, you just build up a whole lot more confidence. You can actually get out there and trade these things the way you need to. You left probably 40 cents on the table here. And so here we see this thing break out. And again, what's the similarity? We are tied off the 90 MA, right? We have some sort of confluence here of defined risk. But not only that, we're not just taking a simple pullback off of that. We're waiting for, as buyers step back in, that's your confirmation to take it right here, risking off the bottom of the candle for the range back through highs. In this case here, you're talking 97-cent risk, 93-cent stop, for the range back over $1. This thing actually made a move all the way to $1.37, which just makes me sick. Over a 40-cent move just makes me sick. But it's also good to see. But again, check this out. So again, what happens here is, look, price pulls back in a big way off the highs, and I was able to trade this twice for profit. Price pulls back in a big way off the highs, and from here, right, this thing looks done. But I see it beneath the 90 MA. Let's reclaim the 90 MA. Reclaim trend, and then I can hop back on the bandwagon here. And so again, I'm able to do that here. Same thing that I was wanting to do back here, I did up here. And so we see buyers put in place a bottom here off the 90 MA, reclaim the 90 MA. Well, take the entry, risking off the bottom of the low here, and again, get a nice move. Same story here as price pulls back off this 90 MA, past low, sits right here. I take it off the pullback, for the range back up into this previous high, as we can see right here. And so again, able to trade this fairly well whenever we have that defined risk. But again, what you'll notice is the setups where I'm actually making the money are not the breakout setups. I'm not taking a setup like this right here, which would, again, cause me to be liquidity. That's not where I perform. And that's what I've got to ingrain in my mind over the next few days, and I want you to hold me to it. This is what is working. These tight, defined areas where it is so obvious that even your blind, deaf grandmother, bless her heart, can also see these setups. It's that obvious. It's that clear. It's that clean and that clear. And that's what we want to see. We want to see the setups that are so clear, so clean, so obvious, so A+, that it is almost stupid to not be watching it. And so we did a really good job doing that today. The only thing is this market is still slow. We're not getting as much opportunity as we're used to. And so the thing is, you start to almost take these lesser quality setups like the ARB, like that GSIT, and what does that do? It just chops you around. It turns your small green days into small red days, and we don't want to do that. So today probably would have been easily about a 2 or 3 R day, which in this market is all I can ask for. Maybe a 4 or 5 R day, depending on if I would have caught that first trade on BENF. But even without that first trade on BENF, today would have easily been a 2, 3, 4 R day. Easily. I know it's a wide range, but it would have been a good green day. But that's the biggest thing I want you to take from this is it's not a matter of doing more of what is working. It's a matter of doing less of what's not. And that's where the review comes into play. And that's exactly what I just showed you here. Even yesterday, for example, we had a lot of similar trades that I looked at. And it's like, we've got to do less of that too. And they all have the one thing in common. Yesterday, for example, I came in and I took a loss on NERV. I played NERV for a small loss, although it was lotto size days. That doesn't really amount to anything. Yesterday was a green day, so it's a bit different. I didn't actually take any breakouts yesterday. But that pretty much sums up exactly what I'm talking about here. So that's what I want you to take from this is, again, it's not about doing more of what's working. It's about less of what's not. And so as we move into tomorrow, I want you to hold me to this. We need to be doing less of these breakout style 1-minute breakout setups. Look over here. We look over here at these setups, and I'll show you again. It's a bit of a long video, but hopefully you are learning something from it. We're not taking any of these mega extended setups. They've got to have some sort of defined risk. You look back over here at SPEV. And again, where is that definition coming from? I want you to really look at this here. Where is the definition coming from here on SPEV out of the open on this breakout? And sure, we do have the opening breakout. We have this big opening breakout, huge move to the upside. Price pulls back. And so you look at this and it's all right, this looks pretty good. But the thing is, I don't want to just take it here after it starts to pull back. I want to wait for it to start to get bought back up. At that point, once we put in place that bottom and we see this candle flip green, cool. Let's maybe play some ball. We have this flip green. We have a hammer off the low here. Cool. I'm going to take that because it's an amazing looking setup, just like VSEE from yesterday. No difference. The exact same setup. But that's the big picture. This was not a bad setup. It was just a matter of not enough confirmation. It's extended away from VWAP moving averages. We've got to do a better job at that. So that's going to be the big thing here as we go on into the rest of the week. This was an overall really good setup. Just didn't work out. The big thing there is AREB and GSIT, which again, I'll show you here as well, that we've got to do a better job at being very picky with, because look at this. In what world am I taking a setup like this? 5-minute wise, you have, look at this, previous high right overhead, which typically took it down here for the move back to retest that high though. So that's not really an issue. The big issue there is just, again, you're buying up into this past area of supply, buying it back into the previous high. What do you expect? So in any case, that's the sum up of the morning. Hopefully you learned something from this video. I know I did. Even though I made the video, I learned something from it. And hopefully you did too. I think this video is very helpful, so hopefully it helped you. That being said, if you did learn something from this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button for daily content just like this. I look forward to coming on here tomorrow to show off some changes that I made overnight. Hopefully show that green day off in a big way. And that being said, make sure to claim your 7-day free trial down in the description below. That way you can get access to watch me trade live every single day and get access to our alerts, watch list, chat room access, scanners, news. There's so much in there for you to check it out. Claim that 7-day free trial, and I'll catch you guys back tomorrow for hopefully an awesome day in the market. Let me know how you did today in the comments below as well. I'll see you guys then.